I'm remembering, and you tell me what you remember of this, when the insurance company kind of, and I believe it was the insurance company that was basically communicating to the hospital that
Yes.
you had to move out of the ICU and go to, and so for understanding, the ICU typically is 2 patients to 1 nurse.
Yeah.
And to move you to the cardiac floor, which is still an acute floor, but it would be a 6 to 1 patient nurse ratio. Part of the reason for moving was you appeared to have been doing well. In ICU language, stable means that we're doing some therapy with you, things like that. And so the insurance company was kind of telling the hospital, we don't really feel like ICU is necessary. What the insurance company, I don't think, understood was every time you had to go in for a washout procedure,
Yes.
for all the dead tissue, you would come back on event.
Right.
And so we're about 3-4 weeks in
Yeah.
at this point. And do you remember that? Do you remember the fight? Do you remember?
Yes.
I say fight, battle.
Well, I think I remember it was a constant struggle because they consistently would try to, I think he's ready to be moved. I think he's ready to be moved. And I do understand, like you said, they were doing it because insurance was telling them they had to do it. But yeah, I do remember it felt like a revolving door. You know, they would constantly try to move him, and then after he had a procedure, he'd always need to go back.
So the day that we had the big battle and we won for him to stay in the ICU, what happened in less than 24 hours? Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember the ICU nurse said he didn't feel good?
Oh, the bleed. That was the big bleed. Yeah. I do remember that, and we've talked about that periodically. It was a very, very traumatic day. But no, I talked to him that same afternoon, and he was breathing really heavy and said he didn't feel very well. And then within about an hour, I got a call from the ICU, and it was just chaos from then on. And that's the night I drove.
Right. That's when I called you and said, you got to get somebody.
Yep.
And you got to come.
Mm-hmm.
And how many units of blood? I think 18.
Over 30.
Yeah. Oh, over 30
units of blood products. They said they stopped counting at 18, and Dr. Van Poppel said it was over 30 total units of blood products. He said as soon as he said his team in the ICU, his team of nurses, basically was on the bed with him, switching out bags as they wheeled him into the CT scan, and then until they got him into IR, where they continued to transfuse him, where they packed, I think, over 100 coils in the splenic artery to totally shut off the bleed.
And I bring this up because we had won that battle less than 24 hours before to keep him in the ICU.
Yeah.
I believe that on a floor with 6 patients to 1 nurse,
That wouldn't, right?
it might not have been caught as quickly or timely
Yeah.
as it was with
I
2
agree.
patients to 1 nurse.